What is up, everyone? Fantasy Endgame, and it's draft time. As usual, that's pretty much what we've been doing. As soon as the last season ended, we got ready for this season. Now we're really ready for this season because I think we're a week away. That's crazy to say from actual football, NFL regular season games. And there's plenty still going on, a lot of drama and news and things that are still going to happen. Cut downs were today. Big name players not getting traded. So let's see how that affects the draft. And what we're doing, if you weren't with us last week or haven't been keeping up with it, no more mock drafts. It's real draft season. This is a real draft. Endgame Redraft League 2. We did part 1 last week. It's Chris and I and our amazing Endgame community. You guys drafting with and against us for real this time. And there's money on the line too.
There is.
I noticed now the order's always random, not like our mocks where you guys get to pick your spots. And the randomizer decided to put us both at the tail end of the draft right next to each other. We'll see how that plays out. What do you think? Now, we keep saying for last week's, I think I got the 2. I was at the 2 spot. And it didn't turn out as great as I thought it would. We've been saying the last 11 and 12 have been great for our mocks. Do you think it's going to turn out good for us?
I think so. Both of our endgame drafts I've now had 11, which is weird. And I don't think you're going to time out and draft 9 running backs behind me. So I like this spot tonight.
I'm not complaining. Like I said, I've been doing mocks plenty at this spot. I know you're going to snipe me plenty and I'll do it right back. So it's going to just even out, right? We don't have to worry about that. So let's see. Everyone online, we're going to get to it because obviously we're full. Are we still waiting on Herb?
No, he's here. Everybody is here, so we can get going.
Okay, just want to make sure. I don't see a green dot on my screen, but
he is here. He's in the chat. He's here. So this is once again 1 QB, 2 running back, 3 wide receiver. I think I have a 3 wide receiver, right? I guess it's too late now. Yeah, 3 wide receiver, 1 flex, 1 tight end. Honestly, I mean, I'm excited for the season. But man, this year is just, I don't know if you feel it as much as I do, but this year has just been so much crazier than last year. In a good way, of course. In a good way. Just so much busier with the channel. I almost forgot to randomize the draft order. It was like 30 minutes for the draft, and people are like, dude, are you going to randomize the order or what? I was like, oh, yeah. Totally forgot.
Yeah. I know some people wanted their spot early so they could practice. No practice needed. You've been mocking all offseason. Don't need any practice. See, Brian's online.
This is pretty much our expert league, so.
Got the green light. Is it too soon, or do we just get the whole JT thing out of the way with now? I mean,
we kind of have to.
I have no idea where he'll get drafted now.
Yeah, we can't wait till he gets picked because we don't know when that's going to be. And the people, I'm sure, want to know.
Yeah. I mean, I think somebody already asked, like, when's JT going to go? Who knows? Like, what do you, I mean, is this going to be one of those really stupid, annoying things that drags on like all season long where Irsay is going to be like battling his player, like in the media, and then JT is going to give like these vague tweets and then just not show up? I mean, you think there's going to be a resolution?
I mean, there'll have to be a resolution at some point because from my understanding, from reading the way the contract works and the tolling and the accruing, is JT has to be available to play by week 6, meaning not on PUP anymore.
Let's go, team! Let's go!
Now, that doesn't mean that they have to play him. Like he could be on the sideline with a helmet and just never see the field.
Right.
But he has to at least be activated from PUP by week 6. And if somebody understands this whole contract thing better than me, go ahead, correct me in the chat. But I've been reading quite a bit about it to try to figure this out. And it seems like it's got to be by week 6. If he's on PUP beyond week 6, then I think he doesn't accrue a season this year, which means next year it's 2023 all over again. All right, hold on. Who's still here? All right, you guys are gonna let me have Diggs at the 9. I'm gonna take Diggs at the 9.
All right.
So like I think we have to see him at some point. It's just a matter of like what JT do we see, what team does he play on, and how much. That makes sense.
Yeah, a lot of moving parts, a lot of factors here.
I will say,
all right.
Well, I mean,
See, I pretty much expected guys like that to be available at the turn, and they were. So it's like in my sleep, I could draft 2 of those receivers.
yeah. I'm just debating what direction I want to go here. Man. What direction do we go? Do we go JT?
What? Are you sure? I mean, yes, you should do that. I think you absolutely should.
I helped my wife with her work league draft last night, and it was incredible. Like Cortland Sutton is her last bench player. Like Cortland Sutton is literally her worst player. Is Cortland Sutton. Which like I know Cortland Sutton isn't anything amazing, but like as your last bench player, it's pretty good.
Wait, is this a different? It's not the league that you're in?
No, this is her work league. I didn't want to join this year. I'm in too many leagues already. All right, I got to get my guy, I guess. I got to get my guy.
There you go. That was my other consideration, between him and Brown, but I got a lot already.
Yeah, that's a tough decision for me. Because I know like the running backs I was considering there will not come back to me. Like they just won't. So
all right. Who needs running backs? So Roberto Online, what is up? Asking who would be the best trade candidate for JT? Wants specific examples, and are you worried about him holding out with this whole pup thing?
Well, okay, again, so I kind of talked about this. He can't hold out.
Right.
Now, he could, like the Colts could basically, like I said, they could activate him off pup and then say, like, you're just not going to play. Or he could, I don't know, tell the coach, like, I don't know. I'm sure there's options there. Again, I don't know the contract situation in depth, but
there's always a way. He could always pull a Kawhi Leonard. You know, he could always be like, "Oh, I'm hurt, coach. I can't play.
Well,
like I'm done for the season. I'm out."
That's different, but he can't because he has to also play, I think, at least 8 games. Now, I could be wrong on this. I've been reading about it. I could be wrong on this, but I think he has to play at least 8 games. Now, play doesn't mean like go out there and get 20 carries. Play just means you were active and on the roster. Like you weren't on like IR or, you know, of course, pup to start or whatever. I don't like, how are they going to like, look, maybe when October 31st, the trade deadline rolls around and they realize like JT really doesn't want to be there and maybe he's not playing very hard or whatever. Maybe the Colts bite the bullet and just take whatever they can get. But it sounds like from what, you know, people close to the situation are saying, it sounds like what the Dolphins and whoever this mystery team was offered wasn't close to what the Colts wanted. Like not even a second round pick. Like allegedly didn't even offer a second round pick. So, I mean, I don't know. A trade seems pretty unlikely unless, again, the Colts, you know, it's October 31st. It's a trade deadline and the Colts are like, okay, this guy isn't going to play under the franchise tag next year and he's not going to play. He's barely playing for us right now. Let's just get what we can get.
Yeah. So my theory here is he didn't get traded by today for a reason, just the same reason he's not going to get traded Ursay is doing basically what he does and getting in the way here. But I think they're just low key punting on this year because it's not going to happen for them. Like, what's their best case scenario here, right? Is they get a high draft pick. That's it. And so this is kind of an easy way out. If they could have gotten, I mean, look, they could have gotten something that was fair value for Jonathan Taylor. If he thinks like in this day and age, I'm going to get first round pick, for a veteran running back or something comparable, like that's ridiculous. You're not, because teams don't even draft running backs in the first round hardly at all anymore. And so I think it was all just a media plays, just being spiteful. It was him like, you know what? If Jonathan Taylor sits there and doesn't play, we get a better draft pick next year. It's just, I don't see it happening. I don't know. My short version of this TLDR is like, I'm not touching Jonathan Taylor at all this season. I'm done. I'm zero interest, nothing. I don't care where he plays, who he plays. Nope. When the red flags start popping up, like, okay, because the risk here, the potential risk, all right, like possibly reward. Oh, he just decides he wants to play for the Colts, or he gets traded mid-season or whatever. The risk, okay, it's like not even close. The risk is he just doesn't play at all this season, and you wasted an early pick. The reward is he still, honestly, no matter what the scenario is at this point, is there any scenario you can see where he's like a top 5 fantasy running back?
Well, no, because the only scenario would be if they activated him from PUP week 4, he played week 5, and he's like, you know what? I'm fine. I'm good. I'm going to play as hard as I can and try to get that contract next year. And he just is awesome the rest of the year. Because you remember, like the year he was RB, people forget this. So people look at last year and they say, oh, even before the injury, he was really bad. He was really bad in 2021 for like 3 games. He was like the RB 30 something. I remember people were like, oh man, I wasted that pick in the second round. He always starts slow for some reason. Even as a rookie, he started slow, which isn't weird as a rookie. So
Starting slow
that would be the only scenario. But no, it's going to be very hard for him to finish as a top 5 running back over the season because he's going to miss at least 4 games. So,
and then even best case scenario is he misses 4 games and that's it, and then he plays for Indianapolis, which seems like the only realistic option at this point because nobody wanted to trade for him. They're not going to do it after week 4. For that Colts team, the team that he now hates and that hates him, and that isn't that good to begin with. Let's not forget that last year the Colts were one of the worst teams in the league for a reason. They're not that significantly better. I don't even know if they are better this year. Like, it was already kind of risky just assuming he would be an elite running back for fantasy. But now it's like, I don't know. I'm not dealing with it.
Yeah, I totally get not drafting him now because there is now the real possibility that it's another lost year for him. It's a similar year to last year. Like maybe you get a game or 2 here and then, you know what I mean? Like it could be like that. So I totally get not wanting to draft him. I mean, there's got to be a point though, like you're on the clock in the 10th round and you're looking at, Tank Bigsby, Kendre Miller, guys like that, and Jonathan Taylor. Are you still saying no to Jonathan Taylor?
Hey, I love me some Tank. I mean, it's going to be the sharing time. Well, no. I mean, I get that, but that's not ever going to happen, right? Jonathan Taylor isn't falling that far. Somebody will take the chance. You remember the Le'Veon Bell year where people were drafting him still in like the second round, like, I got to steal.
I mean, look, Kamara still goes like, maybe not in our draft tonight, but Kamara still goes a lot of times in like the 6th round, and he's going to miss 3 games for sure, and he hasn't even been good in 2 years. I guess he was okay 2 years ago, but you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, you're right. Somebody will probably take him before. I mean, I'm sure he won't fall to the 10th.
Yeah. And then we do have, some people think that we haven't heard about it. JT will be traded tomorrow. I mean,
well,
it was like an arbitrary deadline, right?
Look, they can trade him. They could trade him anytime. The only difference now is like let's say they say, okay, Miami, we'll take a third and a future fourth or whatever. I don't know what Miami's going to give him. Miami has to keep him on the pup for 4 weeks. Like he's on the pup. Even if he gets traded like right now, even if right now Adam Schefter bomb comes in with like Jonathan Taylor's been traded, he still has to stay on pup for 4 weeks. It would still be better for him because at least you know that team is probably going to activate him right after 4 weeks and put him out there week 5. So it would certainly be better for him, but it definitely makes it harder to trade for a guy when you know he can't play for the first 4 weeks.
Yeah, so that's the case. If they are still shopping him, then that would be really stupid by the Colts because then they just lower the value of their trade asset. Now there's no way anybody's going to give them what they were looking for if they were looking for a first round or something comparable. So I don't know.
I still don't think that, like I talked about this last week and stuff. Like it was a win-win for the Colts. Like either some team came out and said, Jonathan Taylor's the missing piece. Here's our first. And the Colts said, okay, he's yours. Great. He's yours. Or this happened where it's like, fine, we just keep him on pup and he's on our team and whatever. Like the Colts haven't lost anything here. It wasn't like, you know, if they didn't have JT on pup, like would JT even be playing? Would he have started the season? I don't even know.
Well, that's why I think this is a win for them if their plan all along was to tank this season and rebuild, which, like, I'm fine with it. I used to be this whole anti-tanker, like, come on, it's like you have to be competitive, whatever, but it just doesn't make sense. Like, if you're going to be a terrible team anyways, you might as well just lean into it and just be the worst possible team you could be. Give young players a shot. Let the veterans go somewhere else. You know, save your money on the salary cap. Get those good draft picks. Like, do it the smart way. So if the Colts are just going to declare themselves, they should trade JT or just not play him. I'm not sure what the whole, having him on pup thing is going to – I don't see how that helps in any way.
Well, like it frees up a roster spot by having him on pup.
I guess.
and it, like I said, it protects them. Like I've been saying, it protects them because if he doesn't come off pup by week 6, then he's still under contract with the Colts next year. He's got the same contract next year. So it kind of really forces JT to be like, how badly do I really not want to play for the Colts? Like, you know what I mean?
Pretty badly now, I'm sure, but what can he do?
If it means you don't accrue your final season of your deal, do you just suck it up and play for the Colts this year?
Isn't it ironic? We were all worried about Josh Jacobs and Saquon Barkley, and now it's Jonathan Taylor who's not playing.
Yeah, I know. JT was the one that I was like, oh, he's going to play, and then he's not playing. But, I mean, I also read a thing from a prominent beat writer, Colts beat writer, who said that when he showed up to camp, his ankle was 100% fine, but he didn't pass his physical, meaning he showed up to camp out of shape. And that's where this is all stemming from.
A little unmotivated.
Now, again, this is a Colts beat writer. This isn't like, I don't know where he's getting this info, but he's a pretty prominent beat writer. He's not like some guy with, 2 followers. He's been around a long time. So,
but also been around a long time could mean maybe he knows the ownership pretty well. Maybe he's getting inside information, getting text messages from Jim Irsay when he's, not blacked out. Who knows? So I don't know.
True.
I do want to get to this. I know our picks are coming up, but Christopher Laborde, appreciate that. The super chat. And I want to get to your question. He's asking for a little quick breakdown here. My first 5 picks got Tyreek Hill, Garrett Wilson. Nice. He went in the first round in our draft just now. 3rd, Jalen Hurts, Breece Hall, 4th, and then J.K. Dobbins. How do you think that went for him? He had the 6th pick. Tyreek Hill at the 6 is good.
Tyreek Hill, that's good. Garrett Wilson, that's great. Jalen Hurts. I wouldn't I wouldn't want Brees Hall as my RB1 necessarily in the 4th, but you got J.K. Dobbins, so that's good. So, I mean, other than, I probably would have preferred somebody else over Brees in the 4th, especially in like a redraft league. Because what's going to happen in redraft leagues when Brees Hall starts slow because they're going to ease him in and he's not going to play a lot of snaps is people are going to panic and think, oh my God, this guy's a bust. And then you can go get him cheap in a trade. Like that's the difference between like a redraft league and say like best ball. Like there's the whole psychology of people in a redraft league. Hold on, I got to think about this. But I very much like your team, your picks.
Yep. I mean, I've been saying it for a while. Brees Hall. I'm not drafting Brees Hall. I'm just not doing it. So 4th round, it's not terrible for him, but I just don't want him as that RB1, like you said. But I love every other pick. Getting Garrett Wilson mid-second was really good. And I like Dobbins there. So love 4 out of the 5 picks. All right, let's see if I love this pick. Okay, you took London. I'm not too surprised. All right, so I will take Keenan Allen. Okay. Let's see. You know what? It looks like everybody at the end here. We got 3 in a row. We're waiting. I'll just keep playing the waiting game and take out you.
Oh man, well that didn't help me. So I was going to pick one of 2 running backs there, but then I'm like, well, there's no way Pierre's going to pick both of them. So I'll just go with a wide receiver here and I'll pick whichever one he doesn't pick. But you didn't pick one.
I did not.
So now I got to decide who I like better.
This is that like undead zone for running backs where it's not dead because these guys are all very much like lead backs, but I don't trust any of them. So it's kind of like, I don't know, the undead. I don't know. Look, guys could be absolutely fine, but I'm gonna in this kind of league, knowing who we're drafting with against here, yeah, I'm gonna stock up on our receivers first.
Just trying to decide which one I want.
I have Space Ghost in the house. So let's see. I have JT Sanders, P. Ryan. Someone offered me Najee, Christian Watson for AJ Brown. Okay, let's forget who you have, don't have. Najee and Watson for AJ Brown. Take it. Yes or no?
Hold on. I was making my pick. JT Sanders, P. Ryan, Najee and Christian Watson for AJ. No, I think you got to keep AJ Brown. I mean, I like Christian Watson. I think Najee will be okay. But AJ Brown is like a top 10, maybe even better wide receiver. I never like being the 2 in the 2-for-1 trade because that means you're giving up a stud. And AJ Brown's a stud. I'm keeping AJ Brown.
Yeah. Now, I think and you mentioned this at the top, the reason probably this guy made that offer today is because he's the JT owner. So his RB1 is not going to be there at least 4 weeks. Who knows how long? So does that sway you in any way?
No. I mean, Sanders, you don't have P. Ryan's your only other running back. You literally don't have any other RBs. Like there's not RBs on waiver. Like you only drafted 3 running backs. Yeah. I'm still not like gonna sell AJ Brown like on a huge, overpay just so I can get a running back.
Yeah. AJ Brown clearly the best player there.
Yeah.
This comes down to how you feel about Najee, really, because if you think he can be your RB1, like that he's going to be a stud, this is a fair deal. I'm don't know. I wouldn't do it just because you feel like you need a running back. No, like, oh, I have JT now. I need to run. You don't want to ever deal out of desperation. I mean, I think it's reasonable. I think maybe you get a little bit more, but and honestly, if it was me, I'd be trying to. Well, I kind of already said that I'd be trying to trade JT away from someone who has more confidence in him than me. But that's what I'm doing. So that's answering Roberto's question here. Would you trade JT or trade for JT? Is this a buy low, a sell, or just a hold and wait and see?
I mean, I think it could be both. It could be both.
Yeah.
Like
it
if
could be
somebody is
anything.
like if somebody is in complete panic mode and is like, I will take, I'll take, like I said, like Kendrick Miller, Tank Bigsby, somebody who's just like a pure handcuff running back right now, just to get rid of JT. I mean, like I'm buying low. At the same time, if somebody's like believes in JT and is willing to give me a really good player, I'll sell high on JT. I think it could really go either way. Like I've seen in our Discord today, a lot of people are still on JT, and a lot of people are like, nope, I'm done. So I really do think it can go either way. It depends who has them in your league.
Yep. It always depends, right? What are you selling for? What are you buying for? Yeah, that is the thing. It does depend, but I don't really feel like even after today. I mean, somebody might be, desperate to get rid of him, but I don't think you're going to really be able to buy that low. I think you wait until it's a couple weeks into the season and he still hasn't hit the field, and if he still hasn't been traded, then you can make a move. You know what I mean? I think it's easier to do it once the season is underway.
Yeah, that's true.
Caleb with the super chat, thank you. So 10-man team got Herbert, Diggs, Cup, Najee, Mixon, Ingram at tight end, DJ Moore, Madison, Rashad White. How do you like that for a 10-man PPR league?
Chances of winning. Well, you got Diggs and Cup. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
You got Najee, Mixon, Madison, and White. So you're okay at running back. Those running backs don't thrill me in a 10 team necessarily, but they're fine. I'm gonna assume you have a flex. So that's probably gonna be like DJ Moore, which I do like that. You got Ingram at tight end. That's good. You got a good QB. I'd say your chances are good. Like this isn't a team where I'm like, oh man, you're stacked. But also I think this should be a good competitive team.
Definitely competitive. I mean, I like that it's built mainly through the wide receiver core, right? You got 3 really good receivers. You do have some upside at running back, but if Madison doesn't, kind of put up Dalvin Cook like numbers, and Rashad White we like, but not as like a huge breakout necessarily. Yeah, because I'm not expecting much from Mixon. So I think the upside at running back isn't tremendous, but it could be enough to carry you because you have such good receivers. So yeah, you should. I mean, even in a 10-man league, I think this should definitely be a playoff team for sure. And then Chris with another one, Christopher, saying, as you can see, win 0 RB, hoping Brees comes back to full form. I don't know. I mean, Brees in the 4th and Dobbins in the 5th, it's not really 0 RB. I mean, if you had gone a receiver instead of Brees, that would not only have been preferable for me, but also that would be more true to 0 RB.
Yeah, I would just call that more of like early wide receiver. I don't even know. I don't know. Why does everything have to have a name these days?
It's just easier. It's easier to categorize things. Let's see. Some good questions. We'll get to that a little bit later when we see these guys go off the board, asking about specific players, just our policy. In a mock, it's not a big a deal, but once we start talking about a guy, it's that what do they call the impressioning, people hear the name, and then they get drafted. So we're not going to start saying these players. So Sal and Sean, we'll get to your questions a little bit later.
Well, there we go. We got JT off the board in the 4th to Danny.
Danny is never afraid. Never afraid. He's got 0 fear, and he's always just kind of going all in, right? So obviously it's not a dynasty league, but 3 running backs in a row.
Yeah, that's talk about not afraid in a 3 wide receiver league, 3 straight running backs.
So I'm curious if the plan here is to immediately put him on the block and try to, trade him, or just hold and wait, and maybe he's going to try to trade one of his other running backs. I'm very curious. Okay, well, good questions here from Rise. What's up, Rise? Are we still drafting Taylor? I'm not. I kind of mentioned that early at the very beginning of the show. And Chris, your answer is maybe, right?
I think there's a point. I mean, I don't want to say names of running backs because they haven't been drafted yet, but there's certainly a point where I feel like I would rather take a chance on Jonathan Taylor than the running backs that are still there at that point. If we were at or past that point, I would say what it is, but we're not there yet.
Not there
but
yet.
I will say again, I mean, man, Josh Jacobs and Waddle for JJ. That's actually, I know I just said I don't want to be the 2 in the 2 for 1, but man,
that would be hard to pass up because Waddle is
really good.
On the higher end, and then Jacobs, now that he's signed, yeah. I mean, that could be a win-win for both teams. Which, by the way, and I didn't even notice this because we're obviously looking at comments and things. Before Jonathan Taylor got picked in round 4, Jahan Dotson off the board.
I thought I was high on Jahan Dotson.
Now, he didn't go before Terry McLaurin, though. Terry went 2 picks before him. That would have actually surprised me less if Dotson went before McLaurin just because of the whole injury thing. But, yeah, round 4, that's early.
Yeah, I like Dotson. I think he's going to be great this year. But, yeah, even in an endgame draft, I think you could have waited a little bit.
Hey, get your guys. And then Ramondre, who I purposely passed on because I got him in the last 2 leagues from last week. I mean, that's just not right. I mean, why is Ramondre going at the 4.8?
I don't know. I really thought you were going to take him.
Honestly, the only reason I didn't is because I drafted him in both of last week's leagues. Both, because he keeps falling. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then I actually want to ask you about this pick, the 4.9, right after that, and before Taylor was Pittman. Are you feeling any differently about Pittman with JT potentially not playing? Do you think that helps him? Do you think it matters?
I don't think it matters. I do like Pittman this year. I think he'll be okay. 4th round definitely feels high to me, though.
Yeah, I've been kind of distancing myself a little from Pittman just because this. My gut is telling me that Anthony Richardson might not be it, at least for his receivers. Not just because he's a Gator. That's not the only reason, I promise. But yeah, Pittman just doesn't do it for me. Like you said, I think he'll be okay, but we don't want okay. And especially in the 4th round, he better be better than okay. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm fading Pittman. I prefer Dotson to Pittman, but I prefer not to get either in the 4th round, if that makes sense. And then look, Mike Williams going in the 5th. I think that's a good pick too.
That's tremendous. Yeah, that's good. I actually contemplated Mike Williams where I took Drake London. I thought about Mike Williams. I was like, oh, hey, maybe I'm going to get Drake London, Jahmyr Gibbs, and still get Mike Williams. But no, didn't happen.
Not too early for a defense question. Are you ready for this?
No.
Ravens or Commanders?
I don't know. Well, who do the Ravens play? Houston week 1. But the Commanders play the Cardinals. You got to do Commanders.
Yeah. Now I wonder, is this a draft question or a week 1 question?
You shouldn't be drafting a defense for the whole season anyways. It should only be a week 1 question. So I'm only going to answer it as a week 1 question. It's the Commanders against Clayton Tune or Josh Dobbs. I don't care.
Yeah. I mean, week 1, it's the Commanders. Season long, I'll take the Ravens, but both are actually good. Probably should be top 10 defenses. So it's pretty close. Chase Young going to do anything, by the way?
I think he's playing, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he's playing, but is he going to actually do anything.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows?
Uh,
They didn't even pick up his 5th-year option. Who knows what's going to happen
yeah.
after this year?
What's up,
If Tua
Jesus?
goes out there and throws for 4,500 yards and 35 to 40 touchdowns, I mean, maybe if Sam Howell actually is really good, it can like soften the blow. But man, yeah,
This is true. Okay, so his 12-team league has Hurts, James Cook, and Jacobs, Cup, Ridley, Godwin, and Kincaid as a starter. And then there's the bench: Herbert, Lockett, Mostert, Dotson, not a starter, and then Osborne and Warren. You like that team?
I like everything but your tight end. But you're probably going to be streaming tight end. I'm guessing you waited till the very end and drafted Kincaid, so it's fine. I mean, Jacobs with James Cook is your RB2 with Herbert and Moss and Raheem Mostert on the bench is pretty good. Obviously, Cup, Ridley, that's great. I mean, Godwin, Lockett, Dotson is your potential flexes. Yeah, definitely like that team.
Yeah, very, very solid. You have a legit RB1 with Jacobs now that he's back. I like James Cook quite a bit. Your depth is all, I mean, you don't have any of these bench guys that say, yeah, my tight end is the only question mark, but like I said, that's the worst thing on your team, that you're just fine. So I like that team. I wouldn't mind having that team. Then I want to make sure this is different. I think it's a different one. It is a different one. All right, Christopher, again, another super chat. Appreciate that.
Wow, thank you, Christopher. Nice name, by the way.
Yeah, that's a good one. All right, so Charbonnet in the 10th round. All right.
Okay.
So this is obviously directed more towards you, thinking he could be a league winner.
But I mean, it's not even like, look, sometimes we throw out things like, he can be a league winner, and it's like, okay, yeah, we're hyping him up, whatever. But this is like legit, like, okay, let's say, knock on wood, it doesn't happen. Like, I'm not praying on anybody's downfall. But let's say tomorrow at practice, Kenneth Walker, ACL. Who is taking touches from Zach Charbonnet? DJ Dallas? Kenny McIntosh? No. Nobody.
Even if they take touches, it doesn't matter.
This year's Kenneth Walker, right? He's going to be this year's Kenneth Walker, basically.
Right. And this is why not all handcuffs or backups or insurance policies, or whatever you want to call them, the guy who takes over for the lead running back, they're not all created equal. Because again, really hope it doesn't happen, like Rachaad White, out for the season. Do you even care who takes his place in Tampa Bay? It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It's not going to be somebody who could be a league winner. So it's got to be the combination of opportunity and talent. And yeah, Charbonnet's got that.
Yeah.
I think
going back to my wife's draft last night, if you want to know how ridiculous this draft was. Kenneth Walker, her first bench running back.
Is this a 12-team league?
It was a 10-team league, but still. Like, that's QB, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, a flex. So Kenneth Walker in the 8th round.
8th round.
And then
for 10-team.
And then, like, with one of her last 2 picks, she got Zach Charbonnet. I was like, you might as well grab Zach Charbonnet. Like, it's like she handcuffed her bench running back, because that's just how ridiculous this draft was. People were like drafting kickers in like round 5 and 6, and defense. It was ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Now this is okay. Wait, this is a work league for her. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes, for her. Yes.
Okay. So do they all know? I mean, they know you. Do they all know that she's getting inside information here?
I mean, yeah, they should. They know me,
They
and
should.
they know. Look, I played in it last year, and I somehow lost, even though I had CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson, and Saquon Barkley on the same team, with George Kittle at tight end, by the way, and Joe Burrow at QB. And I somehow, Debo was my flex. And I somehow lost because Jefferson and Saquon decided, and Kittle decided week 17 was the week they were going to all have duds at the same time. So I lost. But yes, they know. But it was ridiculous. Okay, just Just try. You can't do it, but just try to guess who her starting running backs are.
I'm gonna guess she started with Bijan.
Okay, that's one of them.
All right. Let's see. This Kenneth Walker somewhere in between there. RB2 is J.K. Dobbins.
Way off. Way off.
Okay, her RB2 is Saquon Barkley.
Closer.
Jacobs?
I think closer.
No, you wouldn't tell her to draft Henry or Chubb, so it's got to be the Ramondre or maybe Etienne.
No, you're too far away now.
Oh, okay. There's no way she got Eckler and Bijan.
That's who she has.
Are you kidding?
Bijan and Eckler are her starting running backs.
Which explains why Kenneth Walker's on the bench.
Yes, exactly. Man, where did the wide receivers go in this draft?
Yeah, I actually need to pay attention to the board here. All right, so
By
Brian,
the way, Travis Etienne at the 5'9", I was really hoping you guys would let me get Travis Etienne.
yeah, and then there goes Walker. You're not going to get him for a steal. Man. We have to keep in mind here, we're drafting against the people who know exactly who we like to draft.
Yes.
Huh.
I can't lie, that was a hard pick.
Yeah, I believe it because I'm in the same boat and I get back to back. Then it's going to be a while. Of course, you took one of my guys. Trying to look at the layout of all these teams. All right, so yeah, like they're really, it's not even just that I already went with straight up 4 receivers. I don't even like any of the receivers that are on the top of the board here.
I know, right?
And of course, whoever I'm looking at probably still will be gone by the time I pick, but that's all right. Okay, so what's gonna do here? All right, I'm going to take a quarterback.
I figured you might.
All right, got pair him with Keenan. And then I'm going to take a running back.
I figured you might. That's why I went with Pierce.
Which is a good move because I probably would have taken Pierce. Which running back? You know what? At this point, I have to take one of my guys, right? I mean, I don't have to, but I'm going to.
I mean,
all right. All right. We'll go with my guy too.
All right. Do I go here?
I mean, I don't think it matters. Whoever I would have picked, so the other's probably not going to be there. There's no way he'll be there by the time I come back, but that's okay. All right. Let's see. What do we got here? That's a interesting question. Who'd you take? You took Hollywood. All right. Now, actually, I threw this out there on Twitter where it doesn't matter because you can say anything without repercussion. But don't you think that the Cardinals should trade Hollywood Brown? If they're cutting McCoy and going with a rookie 5th-round quarterback and clearly, going to tank, why wouldn't they trade Hollywood? He's in the last year of his contract.
I mean, yeah, it's certainly a possibility because he is in the last year of his deal, and obviously this new staff is kind of cleaning house. But also at the same time, he's still a 25-year-old, very good wide receiver. And those don't just grow on trees in the NFL. Like, you just don't find those guys everywhere. So look, even if they're tanking this year, they're not going to be tanking next year when they use their plethora of picks to retool that defense. You know what I mean? So, I mean, maybe if they feel like they can't get a deal done with Hollywood, like maybe they try to get a deal done this year, and maybe if they feel like he's going to walk, then sure, maybe they trade him at the deadline. But I don't feel like it made sense they traded the other guys. Like, people were like, "Oh my God, Isaiah Simmons! Look what they give." He was like third on the depth chart. They weren't going to play him, so why keep him? Why keep him on the team on the last year of his deal if you're not even going to play him? Like, Hollywood I could see going either way because he's a good player, and if Michael Wilson, who you drafted this year, develops, and then maybe next year you get Marvin Harrison. Because remember, they have Houston's pick. Next year. They could have 2 top 3 picks potentially.
Yes, they could. One on the
and
offense,
they get Marvin
one on
Harrison.
defense.
You get now all of a sudden your receiving core is one of the best in the NFL. So, and you got a fully healthy Kyler Murray. So, I definitely think it's a possibility, but I don't feel like it's a move that they probably feel like they have to make. But it wouldn't shock me.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely don't have to. I don't know. To me, I'm just going, just lean into it. Just go all out. If you're gonna do a fire sale, do it. Not that that's what they've been doing necessarily, but yeah. Which is funny. Speaking of baseball, you're out there in LA. The Angels, like, it's just stupid what they did. They traded for all these players at deadline, and now they just dropped them all. They kind of like rage quit. You know how, like, if you're like in week 12 or week 13 and you're like, oh, man, I'm last place, like, I'm not going to make it, like, I'm just going to drop all my good players. That's why Yahoo had to put in that thing where, like, the can't cut list, so you can't drop all. Yeah, the Angels were kind of like, all right, fine, well, we'll drop all our other players. It's so stupid. Anyways, Michael has a question for you. He says there's an Endgame league where he happens to be playing a Dolphins fan. Who do you like? I don't know who he's talking about. Who do you like at the flex?
Dalvin Cook, Mingo, Gallup, Zay Jones. Oh, geez. I think out of that bunch, I got to go Dalvin Cook. Mingo, I can't expect a lot from Mingo.
He just practiced for the very first time, today or something? Is that shouldn't matter, right?
Yeah, I'm not worried. I mean, look, they still have like a full another week of practice. The Jets have been very careful, very smart with Breece Hall. I would be shocked if Breece Hall plays more than 30 or 40% of the snaps in week 1. The Jets are playing the long game here. They have eyes on the playoffs, potential Super Bowl run. They're not going to throw Breece Hall out there week 1 and risk messing him up. That's why they've signed Dalvin Cook. So I think Dalvin Cook is out of that group. Look, Gallup could always catch a long touchdown, I guess, maybe, if you get lucky. Yeah. Zay Jones, not with Ridley and Kirk there. I think it's got to be Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, I'm definitely going Dalvin Cook. He's going to be the lead back. He should be fine. Gallup's just a home run play. No way you can start Mingo earlier in the season.
No.
And then, Zay Jones, not as appealing. He could, you never know, he could do something, but Cook is the smartest play. So I would say don't play him. I definitely play Mingo. That's what I'm going.
I mean, the good news for you as the Dolphin fan is I don't think Dalvin Cook is going to go off in week 1 and
not
cost you the win.
No. If I lose, it probably won't be because of Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, it probably won't be because of Dalvin Cook. It'll be somebody else.
All right. Les with the super chats. Let's get to his question. Thank you, Les. So he wants to know about his 10-team PPR league Superflex. Got Mahomes and Goff, Kenny Walker, and then Jahmyr Gibbs, Garrett Wilson, Sun God, Waddle, Njoku, and Smith. Very nice. And on the bench, you see all the bench pieces there. Got some good running back depth, I think. I know it's a 10-teamer, but this is pretty good. This is actually would make an amazing dynasty team. It's very young, but what do you think for a redraft?
I mean, yeah, look, you got Mahomes, Goff, and Cousins as your QBs, so that's nice because you can always mix and match Goff and Cousins based on matchup. Walker and Gibbs at running back should be fine. Like I'm not like super excited about Walker this year, but they're fine as your running backs. And look, Gibbs has the upside. Wilson and Monroe Waddle with Devonta Smith is great at wide receiver. I mean, we're talking about, in super flex, obviously quarterbacks are going to go earlier, but we're talking about 4 wide receivers that are drafted in the first 2 to 3 rounds of pretty much every fantasy draft. You got Njoku. You got some good running backs on the bench too. Akers, White, Cook, Ford back at practice today, so maybe he is still the Chubb handcuff. I don't know. And you got Deontay Johnson, Christian Watson, and Jordan Addison.
Yeah, I don't think I even noticed that. He got Christian Watson just like chilling on the bench.
Wow. Yeah, I don't even think it matters who your running backs are. You're good.
I don't know how you. I mean, obviously the people in your league went after you got Mahomes. Everyone else was going quarterback, and you waited till you got Goff and Cousins, right? They were kind of later, and then everyone else probably went with those stud running backs because your first running back here is Kenneth Walker. But I love the depth you have a running back. That's the thing is you don't have a guy who's a clear cut I don't think league winner at running back unless Gibbs just goes insane. But you have so many guys you can plug in there. So yeah, I think this could be a league winner just based on your receivers alone.
Exactly.
Very nice. All right. And then that did have a Akers in there. Look at this question, Matthew Chen. View on Akers and Pierce. Well, I just took Akers, and anybody knows who I think. If Chris had not taken Damian Pierce, I probably would have gone Pierce Akers just now at the turn. I like them both a lot.
Yeah, I like them both too. Obviously, I like Pierce more because I took him. I like that Pierce played a bunch of pretty much almost all the third down snaps in the preseason because last year he only played 25%. Remember, Rex Burkhead was getting the third down snaps. It was super annoying. And Pierce isn't like a guy. Pierce was a decent pass catcher in college. Like, he's not a guy who was never used in the passing game. He can do it. So if he's going to get third down snaps plus be the workhorse, I'm all on board. I mean, obviously there's worries because, you get Houston and you got a rookie quarterback, but a three down workhorse at that range, it's hard to find guys like that.
Exactly. You guys both, I think, very talented running backs, and they definitely have a ton of opportunity there. So I like them both a lot. I'm trying to decipher this question.
Him?
All right. I'm trying to, maybe I'll see if you can figure this one out. Oh, never mind. I got it. Joel been asking this question. Pollard for Etienne. What, just straight up? I mean,
give me Pollard.
Yeah, we both have Pollard ranked higher. So. And then I was almost thinking that DeAndre Swift would make it back to me all the way back, and he didn't. If Swift was there, would you have taken Swift?
Yes, I would have taken Swift. Yes.
Okay, so it didn't matter. You're off the hook, catch. Oh yeah, I get 2 picks. Let's see. Who do you love? I don't love any of these receivers. So maybe what I'm lacking in quality running back, I can make up for with quantity.
Maybe. I thought about Monty there. Definitely thought about him.
You think drafting a player that I said do not draft on a video, fair or foul?
It depends. Depends what you said about him, I guess.
Uh,
like I said, don't draft Nick Chubb in the first round, but that doesn't mean like if Nick Chubb is sitting there staring at me in the third round, I'm going to draft Nick Chubb. Like I'm going to take him and you know what I mean? I just wouldn't take him in the first round. Now, if you said there's no chance ever I would ever draft this guy, then yeah, maybe not.
It might have been something along those lines.
I think I know who you're looking at. He
Yeah,
probably
you
is
do
the right
now.
pick. He probably is the right pick here. If you're going that direction, he's probably the right pick.
Yeah, you do know. No, you know what? I'm just gonna do what I always do and wait too long on running back. All right, Cortland Sutton it is.
I was actually gonna take Sutton here.
That's how I knew it was the right pick.
All right, pivot.
And look, just for anyone who hasn't been watching, I've been drafting Cortland Sutton late because everyone's just does not want a piece of him, right? We get him in like right now, like 9 or 10, round 9 or 10. Like, why not? And now with the Judy news, I mean, he's not for the season or anything, but still, I think Sutton is a pretty good value. No, he's not starting for me, but Okay, now let's put this question up as soon as Chris does his pick. Oh, I forgot to put this up. Sorry, just so many. So, Christopher, thank you again. I don't think I saw a new question. If you have anything, feel free to throw out there, but definitely appreciate the love. Do have a comment, so let's get to that. Starting lineup is Jalen Hurts, Hill, Wilson, Brian Robinson, Dobbins, Njoku, Flex, Christian Kirk. Defense and a kicker. I don't think we need to pay too much attention to that. So rating scale over 1 through 10 of that starting lineup. I mean, can't do better than Hurts.
Jalen Hurts, Tyreek, Garrett Wilson, Brian Robinson, and Dobbins. You definitely waited on a running back. Njoku, Kirk. Wide receivers are like a 9. QB's a 10. Tight ends like a 8-ish probably. Running backs, not bad, like a 7. I'd probably like 8.5, maybe an 8.5 overall.
Yep, that's about where I'd put it. It's hard to say, without seeing your bench, but again, we just want to know your starting lineup. Yeah, I mean, you got 2 of the top receivers. You have maybe the top quarterback. Flex is solid, so yeah, very solid. And I'm assuming PPR, just for fun, just say the defense, Redskins, Commanders should be pretty good. Top 10, I think, unit. And then Myers is fine. He's a keeper. Which, by the way, there's a lot of trade action today in the kicker world. There were actually
What is up with that?
There were multiple kickers getting traded for draft picks.
I thought my wife's work league was bad with all the drafting all the kickers early. Now we got real life NFL teams making trades for kickers.
Yeah, and who was it? One team, I think it was Cleveland. They cut the kicker that they drafted in like the 4th round. Was last year, the year before, so that they could trade for a kicker that probably was going to get cut anyways, that they could have got for free.
Yeah,
I'm starting to wonder about Cleveland, but anyways, kickers. All right. You got me, Michael, here. Okay, with our magical future insight, what do you think the RB rotation, the breakdown looks for in the RB room? I mean, we actually, you and I, not even on video, I think we kind of talked about this beforehand with the Dolphins and Mostert and all that. So I don't think we came up with numbers.
I think Mostert is the starter. I think at least early on, Wilson is the number 2. And then Achane will probably, assuming he's healthy week 1, of course, probably mix in here and there. Now the big question after that is which one stays healthy? Like for real. Like they have by far the most injury prone, riskiest running back room, right? Like at any moment, any of these guys could get hurt. And two or all of them could all get hurt in the same game. It's not even like out of the question. So I think it starts with Mostert as like the main guy, but he's not maybe like he gets like 50%. Wilson maybe like 35%, and then a Shane, assuming again like he's actually healthy by week 1 and gets whatever's left over. And then from there, it's just who is actually healthy going into the next week.
I mean, the way I look at this is it's going to depend on the week. It's going to depend on the part of the season, because let's even assume, like, pretend Shane is just 100,000% healthy, no shoulder, whatever. He's fine for week 1. Okay, so week 1, early season, he's not going to be the number 1 running back. He's going to be part of this committee. He's going to be probably the number 3 guy technically in terms of snaps. Because even if he might be their most explosive runner, or the best pass catcher, that's not all coaches look for, right? They want the guy they can trust to get the assignments right, the guy who can actually do something in pass protection. Because remember, this team's going to pass a lot, and then that experience. They're not just going to put a rookie out there if he wasn't Bijan Robinson or Jahmyr Gibbs. He wasn't. So early season, I think it's kind of like a 40, maybe 45% Mostert, 30-ish Wilson, and then a little bit of a Shane. Now, as the season goes on, you might see a Shane tick up to like 30% share or something like that. And then it really just depends, like you said, who hasn't, torn something by that point.
Who's actually suiting up that week?
Who is out there? But you have to also remember McDaniel. He's kind of one of these coaches that likes his guys. All coaches are like that, right? They have guys they trust and is big on familiarity. But McDaniel is definitely. Why do you think he brought Mostert and Wilson over to Miami? He already knew them. He knew what he could expect from them. He knows that they are good with their assignments. That's what he wants. Shane's gonna have to prove himself, and he will. But at the same time, it's going to be hard for anyone, much less a rookie who's a 3rd-round pick, to just come in and become a lead back there. It's going to be a committee no matter what, which is also the reason why the Dolphins are desperate to give up, high draft capital to get Jonathan Taylor. Like, maybe Jonathan Taylor made them a Super Bowl contender, but that's not what this team is built around, having this running back plow 20 plus times down the field. That's not how it operates. So it kind of didn't really make sense with the fit like you think it did, like personnel wise. John Taylor Dolphins, that's perfect, but it maybe doesn't fit their philosophy on offense as well. So that's a long-winded way of saying, it's just going to change week to week.
Yes.
All right, what's going down here? Looking at the comments I'm looking at. There goes Charbonnet in the 8th round. Gibson gone. Guess who took him?
Yep. And I did debate Njoku where I took Quentin Johnston.
Yep, there goes Njoku. You did take Quentin Johnston. I haven't seen you take a lot of Quentin Johnston this offseason.
I usually don't, but I felt like with the wide receivers on the board this late, I'll take him. I'll stash him. I'll see how he develops. I mean, you look at the wide receivers, it's not like, ooh, he jumps off the page.
No, I'm definitely not giving any positive reactions right now to what's left. So here's a good question. Now that Taylor wasn't traded, but is also not playing, Colts running backs worth picking up?
Yes, I think Deion Jackson and or Evan Hull are worth picking up and seeing what happens. If you have really deep benches and you can pick up both, do it. But chances are you're only going to be able to get one or the other. So grab one, stash him, see what week 1 looks like, how it plays out. Do we get any answers? And then go from there.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised really that Deion Jackson last year, remember he put up that really big game, especially as a pass catcher, and he was looking good. And then they just kind of went away from him. They just didn't play him, and then he got hurt. And then, but it seems like that coaching staff just didn't really put a lot of trust in him. So I wonder if he'll get more of a fair shot now that they kind of don't really have any other options. But again, it's probably just going to be kind of an unappealing timeshare because that whole offense now is pretty unappealing. But in a PPR league, I don't mind stashing Deion Jackson because I do think he could have some sort of a floor. And this one, okay, I forgot. I think I skipped it and I forgot to go back to it because I finally figured out what you were talking about. Where is it? There we go. So Mason, any love for Tank Smell, which I think he means Tank Dell, or drop him for Bobby Trees, Darius Slayton, John Mechie?
No, I would probably hold on to Tank Dell and see what happens in week 1. I mean, maybe for Mechie, but again, Mechie's a guy you got to wait and see what happens in week 1. So I think right now, I think Tank Dell, I'd hold on to Tank Dell. Definitely not dropping him for Bobby Trees or Darius Slayton. Maybe Mechie, but again, I'd rather see how week 1 goes first.
Yeah, I think Mechie, it's going to take time because, of course, long time away from football, just in general. He's still kind of picking up on things. He's basically like a rookie. And, of course, Tank Dell is a rookie. But Tank has had a lot of those repetitions with Stroud. And remember, that's his guy, right? Did Stroud basically tell the front office, hey, draft him? And they did. And we're hearing that he kind of had this connection with him. He's been targeting him the most in training camp. So there could be something there. I like Mechie's potential more long term. Like in Dynasty, I'm preferring Mechie, but in a redraft, just hold on to Dell. I'm not rostering Bobby Trees anywhere. Slayton, he's just one of those guys who you can grab like the very end of a best ball draft and get those 2 or 3 kind of big games he puts up, but you can't trust any of those Giants receivers, honestly.
No. All right. Well, all the tight ends are gone.
I agree with this. I think we should have more tanks in the NFL.
I mean, you already have a QB, right? Yeah. So
I do. Okay. I see what you're saying because Firemouth is now gone. So
yeah, so the tight ends are gone. So now it's
tight
just
ends are gone.
wait.
Does everybody have a tight end
Probably
except
should
for
have
you and
gone.
me? Everybody
What's
but you
that?
and you. Everyone else has tight ends.
Yeah, I probably should have gone Njoku over QJ, but oh well.
All right. So now you took Tank just so I couldn't have. Yep. I did it again. I waited too long on running back. I'm going to hate my running backs. I still do like Pirine. I'll take Pirine. I mean, he's a guy, not a lot, but every target counts, right? Judy out there, a little bit more action for the receiving running back here, and then I will go with. Might as well just keep waiting.
All right, back to me.
All right. At least they got a plan. All right, let's see. We are both missing tight ends. At this point, we might as well keep waiting, right? Is it?
I mean, I'm going to.
Yeah. Thoughts on, okay, well, potentially one of the next tight ends to be taken would be Dalton Schultz. Because we did just talk about Houston and that receiving core, which is not great. Not great. But do you think Schultz might wind up being maybe one of the better receivers there just because they don't have really standout wide receiver?
I mean, well, hold on. Okay.
Not so much.
Not so much. I mean, yeah, I haven't really been drafting Schultz much at all this year, to be honest. Maybe I'll miss the boat on him. I don't know, but
Well, you got to wonder if maybe he put up numbers because he was in the Dallas offense, very pass heavy. Dak Prescott versus a rookie, different system, different scenario. So I don't mind
definitely.
Schultz. I mean, if I'm waiting, like if I'm the last guy taking a tight end, okay, he might be the best option out there. Like, am I going to take Schultz over guys like Komet or, Higbee or one of these rookies? Yeah, sure. I'll take Schultz, but it's not, I just don't think it's that big a difference, I guess. Thoughts on Zay Flowers versus Traylon Burks in a half PPR league?
Definitely Zay Flowers.
Yeah. I like both guys, but yeah, higher on Zay, better quarterback, better offense. So good to go Zay. Yeah, this is what's going to happen, right? We're going to start seeing the other tight ends. Everyone's going to back up their tight end.
Hey, go for it.
Yeah, right.
Let me get better players, please. Like the tight ends at this spot, even if you guys took all the backup tight ends, like, is there any difference between the tight ends that would still be on the board?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Like you take the top 5 off of there, and it's like it's all the same to me.
Yeah. They're all basically the same guy now.
So what's up, Mr. 305 is in the house.
I will say, I don't know why, but I always forget about Nico Collins in these drafts. And after I took a chain and you asked a question about Dalton Schultz, I was like, oh, I should have taken Nico there. So good pick, Jimmy.
And we just spent way too long talking about the Houston passing game, and he was there. But
yeah, I think Nico's going to surprise a lot of people this year. I think people say they don't have it. I think he's going to be. I don't think he's going to be like a league winner or anything, but I think he'll be like a top 30 wide receiver that you're getting almost for free.
Yeah, I like Nico too. He must have been dropped in their rankings because he didn't used to be this low, right? I think that's why we overlooked him.
The problem is, like, I have my own rankings here, and I just didn't look at the wide receivers because after I took QJ, I just told myself okay, it's just like running backs. Obviously, I need a quarterback, I need a tight end, but that's not I should have just at least taken a look at the wide receivers because he was like number 2 on my list of remaining wide receivers. And I still didn't take him.
Well, now we got a serious wide receiver run. Which I always love, by the way, in this platform. We always use Sleeper, love Sleeper, but you go into all these players like, okay, this guy's number 3 receiver, this guy's starting, and then all of a sudden you hit Benny Fowler. Like, what? Like, okay. We're gone too far now. All right, Christopher with another super chat.
Thank you.
Another question. All right, so this is, I guess, the bench for that same team. Jerry Jeudy, Charbonnet, Kincaid, Shane, Elijah Moore, Kenny Pickett, Breece Hall, and Buffalo. Going to need to trade some wide receivers for running back. Not necessarily.
Yeah, not necessarily. I mean, it's a good bench. It's definitely a good bench. I don't know. Do you really need Kenny Pickett though? Like I don't remember it being a super flex league. I think
I don't
less
think it
have a super
is. Yeah,
flex
and if you
league.
have,
So if it's a one QB league, I probably would drop Kenny Pickett and pick up a running back or something.
well,
See
and
if
if you
Deion
have,
Jackson's out there, or Evan Hull.
he had Jalen Hurts, didn't he?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need a quarterback for more than 1 week, hopefully. So yeah,
Yeah.
you
If you're
drop.
if you're starting Kenny Pickett, your team's in trouble. Because that means
That's
Jalen
true.
Hurts is hurt.
That is true. All right, but no, your bench is fine. I mean, stash Judy, you got those rookies. I mean, you got a lot of rookies on your bench, which is fine. Get some upside, Brees Hall for later in the season, maybe. So now don't make any moves yet or anything.
Yeah. But I would drop if Deion Jackson or Evan Hull are on your waiver wire, I would drop Pickett and pick one of them up and see what happens week 1.
Right. And then to answer this, do I like Schultz over Komet? Barely.
I don't even
Yes, but
know.
barely.
This is why I hate rankings. Hate having to do rankings. It's like, how do you rank Schultz, Komet, Higbee? Like you know what I mean? Like, how do you rank these guys? Like, are you just so much higher on one than the other that's like, yeah, he's clearly over him? Like, probably not.
Nah, that's no big difference. That's why I'm not worried. If I miss one, I get the other. Same thing.
Yeah.
All right, we have an announcement.
An announcement.
Return
Oh no.
of the bus.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Bus is back.
The bus is back.
Although I have
Bus,
a feeling he's
how do you-
been here
Bus,
just
are
under
you-
like
are
a
you-
pseudonym the whole time, right? He's probably been like 5 different aliases.
At least. Are you devastated with the Bam Knight cut today by the Jets?
That's right. He did get cut today. Poor Bam. And the I want to get his take on the Corey Davis thing.
with the Dolphins, is he now your second least favorite player behind Elijah Moore?
We'll see. Had Dolphins cut Myles Gaskin, and he had been having a good preseason, so I bet he gets picked up somewhere. Which is funny because as soon as they announced that, because it's cut down day, and then they released Myles Gaskin, and everyone's like, "See, that's it. They're getting traded. They're trading for Taylor. They're going to get him."
Yeah.
No, they had too many running backs. They had to cut somebody, and
The
so
one I think there was one time where they freed up like $4.5 million in cap space, and that's when everybody was like, "This is it. This is it." It was not it. It was not it. Unfortunately.
did not happen. He says he's more disappointed that Trey Dean got cut than Bam Knight.
But I was happy that Brownlee made the team. Very happy about that.
It's tough cuts just have to happen. Let's make sure I didn't skip anything. Sorry, I'm going back here. Trying to draft and monitor. All right. Just because it's you, NMB, a long question here, but your wide receivers are Waddle, Cooper, Godwin, Deontay, Kirk. Who would you trade for? What RB if your RB2 is sharp?
Deontay Johnson and Kirk for Swift. Because then you're going to be Waddle, Cooper, Godwin. So now you go from this nice, deep wide receiver group to 3 wide receivers. So you need Swift to be really good this year, which he can be. Like if I'm going to trade Deontay and Kirk for a running back, I want to at least feel like they're locked into, a good role.
and it's got to be fair value. You know, guys who are drafted around the same range. Like for me, I don't mind, parting with either Godwin or Deontay. Could get maybe a guy like a Pierce type. You think an
Yeah,
Etienne? You think someone? I don't think someone would give up Etienne to get Deontay Johnson.
probably not. Probably not. I mean, you can look at our draft here. So obviously, this draft a little more wide receiver heavy, but you had Deontay in the 5th, Kirk in the 4th, and then you got guys like Pierce, Walker, Etienne. Although that's really low for Etienne. Typically, he goes higher than that. Dobbins, Akers. So I'd be looking to trade one of those wide receivers, not both, for one of those kind of running backs.
But you know the way people are with running backs. Like I said, you might be hard pressed to find somebody who's willing to trade you a starting running back for
Yes.
like a third receiver, or in your case, it's a fourth receiver, like straight up. So that's the tricky part.
That is true.
But you never know. I mean, maybe you got a Steelers fan in your league and he really loves Deontay Johnson and was mad that you got him. I mean, it just depends. Depends on the league. And then
I will say this is a fair point. The running backs definitely a lot of running backs went later in this draft for sure.
Yeah. And look, we know this. We're aware. We embrace it. We are fine with the fact that we know that in-game league drafts are different. Your home league, your work league, your probably typical leagues, they don't draft like this because I like to think we draft smarter, right? You know where these are. I think this is a better barometer of where guys should go, not necessarily where they will go. And so, what do you always say, Chris? Like, once you draft in a league like this, like you're just gonna slay in your home. You'll be like, I can't believe I got this guy in round 4. I can't believe I have like all these running backs. Like you just,
It's like my wife's work league last night. It was like I'm like the only thing that happened the whole night because she got Fields as her QB, and I was like, she had her 2 wide receivers, she had her 2 insane running backs. She still got Olave and London as her wide receivers, even after getting Bijan and Eckler to start. She got Fields. And then I was like, if DJ Moore is still on the board, grab him. He'll be your flex, and you'll have the stack. And he got sniped right before her. That was really it. That every other one, it was like, I mean, it was really to the point where I was like, I don't know. There's like 5 guys I would draft here. Like it's like round 7, and there's 5 guys I would just happily draft here. I don't know which one to take.
that's a good problem to have.
It was pretty crazy. All right, what do I think you're going to do?
Draft a backup quarterback.
I think you're going to take a running back, but you probably won't take I don't know if you're going to take like necessarily a running back I want. Who's even here? I was going to go Marvin Mims if you made it to me.
All right. Some interesting names out there.
I mean, there's a guy where I'm like, this is kind of feels like he should be gone already. But at the same time, I don't know if I want him. And no, it's not Zeke. It's not Zeke, before you ask.
It's not Zeke? No.
All right, I'll go here.
All right.
I don't think that's where you were going.
That's not where I was going to go. Let's see. Yeah. I do need to go running back. I mean, this is also the point where all the receivers left are just kind of like flyers anyway. So what's the difference? Let's go double RB. You know what? Let's go double rookie RB because we need some upside.
All right. Just look here. All right, I'll get there.
Oh, someone's a fan of that pick. Oh no, actually, you made that comment way before I picked him. Jaws, a fan. Thanks for Sean Johnson. We'll take over the Bears backfield. Look, Deontay Foreman, he didn't get cut today, did he?
I don't think so. I don't think he
so.
did. I think he survived.
But I mean, guy's got so many injuries over his career, and he's hurt now again already. And I think he was already running behind those because Khalil Herbert had been the lead back in the early downs. Rashawn Johnson was the pass catching back. So yeah, Foreman might just kind of fade away, be out of the equation here. So yeah, if Rashawn Johnson proves that he can be kind of a do-it-all back because he's clearly the guy who's going to have the edge on passing downs. So I mean, it'll still be a 1-2 punch, right? They're not going to just have a guy who takes over the backfield. That's the problem. It's not going to just be Herbert or just Johnson or Foreman or anybody. But I wouldn't be surprised if Johnson winds up being the most productive of the Bears running backs.
I don't know. I'm still on the Herbert train. I mean, look, it's a long season. Anything can happen, but it looks like it's his job to lose.
He's the best pure runner. Yeah, he's got the speed. That's for sure. He can make things happen. You just can't catch. Now, this is not a glitch in the Matrix. This is another super chat from Christopher Laborde.
Thank you, man.
Very appreciative of that. Outside chance that Dobbins is a top 5 running back.
I mean, here's the case for Dobbins' top 5 running back. We have a running back apocalypse where a ton of running backs just get hurt, and he plays all 17 games. Because the problem is he's not going to catch enough passes. I mean, look, you could be top 5 without catching a lot of passes. We've seen Derrick Henry do it. He needs 15 plus touchdowns and probably 1,500 plus yards rushing to have a chance at RB5 ish. Can he do it? Sure. Is it likely? No. But the good thing is, where you're drafting J.K. Dobbins, you don't need him to be a top 5 running back.
Right.
If,
I need to say outside chance. Is there an outside?
Yeah.
Like, is there any chance at all? Yeah, I mean, sure, there's a chance.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes there's no chance. But there is a chance here because he's a talented starting running back on an NFL team. But without the pass catching, the path to top 5 is very tough. Very tough.
Right. I mean, like I'd say there's almost no chance for Rashawn Johnson as a top 5 running back, right? So Dobbins, yeah, there's a chance. But what the chance is basically I think he scores 20 touchdowns, right? He just scores almost every game. Maybe that happens. He has a couple of multi-touchdown games because the Ravens offense is really good, which I think it will be. He's the guy who's getting pretty much all of the work. Yeah, I mean, there's a scenario. Jim is wanting to know, this is a 14-team league. 14 team. Right. Getting deeper here. Saquon and Pollard. That's good.
Nice.
DK, Drake London, Mike Williams, JSN, Dak, and a kicker.
I mean, you even got the best kicker. This is a great for 14 team. You got 2 stud running backs. You got 3 very good wide receivers. You got a very good QB. You got a good rookie wide receiver. This is, I mean, I don't know what the rest of your team looks like, but that part looks great especially for a 14 team league. That is a very, very good team.
Yeah, I think that's a really, really good team. I mean, you don't have a clear like wide receiver 1, for fantasy, but it's okay because you have 2 potential RB1s, and that's harder to come by in 14-teamer. We always say your RB2 isn't as important, and depth, you play the waivers, but in 14-teamer, that's harder to do. So I like you have that really solid floor receiver, and then I like Dak a lot this year. I know you kind of waited to get your quarterback. I still think he's just being way undervalued this year. So,
Definitely.
I like that team a lot. All right. Mitchell with a dilemma. Waited way too long on quarterback. So he had to go with Daniel Jones.
Eh.
I
My
mean,
worry here's my worry for Daniel Jones. Don't they have just like a brutal first matchup? Who do they play week 1? We just did this.
they play the Cowboys, I think.
Yeah, brutal week 1 matchup. So if Daniel Jones struggles week 1 against the Cowboys, which he very well could, do you just say, "Hey, it was the Cowboys, I'm going to keep rolling with him," or do you go to the waiver wire and get somebody else?
I'm not rolling with him at all. So,
Yeah, well, I'm not rolling with him either, but
I don't know who else was available. Look, I'm not drafting Daniel Jones. There's just no ceiling. I don't know. I don't want to go on another anti-Daniel Jones rant, but yeah, you're gonna be able to find. Okay, let me just put it this way: Do you think that Sam Howell could produce as much, if not more, fantasy value than Daniel Jones this year?
can he? Yes. Would I bet on it? Probably not. Like,
Isn't Sam Howell just as good of a running quarterback as Daniel Jones? I think he is.
probably, but I mean, Daniel Jones has many more years of experience in the NFL and has Brian Daboll. So, like, look, could Sam Howell eventually be better than Daniel Jones? Yeah, I might put money on that. I might. But to say basically rookie year Sam Howell is going to be better than year 5 Daniel Jones, could it happen? Sure, because not a super big believer in Daniel Jones. But I'd have a hard time betting on a rookie quarterback over an established vet. Unless the rookie quarterback was like,
Yeah.
a generational talent type of guy.
Yeah, but I don't know. For me, I guess the bar is not that high. Saying that he could be better than Daniel Jones, like to me, that
True.
doesn't say much. And then he's got Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, really good pass catching running back in Gibson. Giants, he has Darren Waller, but the receivers, like, nah. Anyway, so what do I think? I think you should probably start looking at the waiver wire for like another option. That's what I think. I mean, now, because you don't want to start Daniel Jones against Dallas. I don't think you do.
So I guess you got my answer between Higbee, Schultz, and Komet. I guess I have Higbee higher because I just took him.
Well, you know what? Then here we go. I'm going to take one anyways. I'll just take Schultz.
I missed the last 2 picks, so.
Then, yeah, see, there's no point drafting a running back because there's not. All right, so you make your last pick here, and then I have some news.
Yeah, and I will say, Danny pretty much made this decision for me. So I took Anthony Richardson in our last draft. So I'm going to go Tua tonight as my QB1.
Nice. So
since
speaking
I
of
already
Danny,
have Anthony Richardson in another league.
We just got a very significant super chat. Danny actually paid just to be on the screen.
Whoa. Thank you, Danny.
Thank you, Danny. That is huge. And coming in right under that, I don't think you noticed this. I think we have a believer, not an MT believer or an Adam Thielen believer. We have an Endgame believer, Christopher.
Yeah, thank you.
With the $100 super chat.
That's amazing, man. Thank you so much. That's if that was a typo. I don't know. Like
I would feel bad if you just accidentally hit the zero too much.
To do $1. Whoa! Thank you so much, Christopher. Very generous.
Even if it was just 10 or even just one, because this is like the 6th or 7th one. Just yeah, I mean, appreciate it. Yeah, drinks are on Chris tonight, Christopher.
Yeah, Nate coming in for sure, making it rain.
I think he just got himself free entry in one of our leagues, if nothing else.
For real, actually, that's not a bad idea. There's one spot left.
Here we go. All right. So not a typo, apparently.
And
So we helped him win 2 leagues last year. That's awesome.
And I will say this, Christopher, there's one spot left in my league on Thursday night. I've offered it to a couple people, like a couple of our long-term Discord people. They haven't been able to do it. If you want in, I'll buy you in. It's not $100 buy in, but if you want in, let me know. I'll buy you in. If you're on Discord, message me on Discord, or you can email me, Chris at fantasyfootballendgame. Yeah, fantasyfootballendgame.com, because we don't use that anymore, so I have to always think about it. If you want in, let me know. It drafts Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern. If you want in, let me know. Spot is yours.
There you go. Yeah. I mean, that's the idea. Hopefully you win that league too. I mean, that's what it is, guys. We don't want to put people on here so that we can point and laugh and say, oh, look who you picked. Look what we're gonna win. No, we want you guys to win these leagues. So that's the idea, right? Yeah, of course. Great draft, and we're winding up here. Let's see. Kyler Murray off the board. Brian taking a.
Kyler Murray's his QB1.
That's his. Yeah, I was say that's his only quarterback. So he's going Kyler Murray. You might want to stream somebody week 1. Just saying.
Well, the nice thing is because he can put Kyler Murray on IR and pick somebody else up at QB. So
yeah, that's a strategy. Clayton Tune might be out there. You can pick him up. And then
we have a Clyde Edwards-Helaire believer. Nate.
Hey, I said good things about Clayton Tune at some point this offseason. You remember that. And then Danny's still not scared to go to Anthony Richardson as his starter last round. All right.
I mean, I would have, look, if Tua wasn't there, I would have taken Anthony Richardson again. I would have been like, oh, well, let's go.
And I'll say, Jimmy, they're taking I almost did if I was going to go to the running back. Did y'all see that Ty Chandler pick? That's looking like a pretty good pick because Dwayne McBride did get released.
Yep, Ty Chandler looking like a good pick. All right, there we go. I'm not sure how to feel about this team. This is a lot more running backs than I'm used to.
All right, so you guys know if you join for our mocks, we always break down the rosters and teams. This is a real thing. This is a money league. We're going to be competing, so we're not going to judge. Just going to point out how the draft went real quick and then talk about our own teams. So what did we notice here? Titus End, first to take a quarterback with Mahomes, Jefferson Mahomes. How many times did we see that this year when whoever got the 1 pick after taking Jefferson went Mahomes? That's pretty appealing, right? Get the very top receiver and quarterback.
For sure. What about Danny with the it's I guess it's not, it's like hero wide receiver instead of hero RB. He went hero wide receiver, Jamar Chase, and then 3 straight running backs.
I like that. I think you should coin that hero receiver because it has to have a name.
Honestly, that might not be it has to have a name. That might not be a bad strategy this year because running back values are falling so much.
Let's see how that Taylor pick pans out. I mean, who knows? Taylor as his RB3.
That's going to be the make or break pick, right? Like if Taylor is back at some point and playing well, then he could have a monster. But if Taylor is just thing all year, then yeah, that'll probably be the make or break pick for him for sure.
Yeah. All right. So now you know he goes in the 4th round, apparently, end of the 4th. Let's see. Nate went with, I think we can call that 0 RB. He still believes in Mixon. All right. Your guy Herbert, my guy Robinson. All right. And then,
although if he was a real 0 RBer, he would have taken Waller in the 6th and then grabbed a running back. But
wow, that's pretty bold. Calling him a coward online, that's pretty bold. All right, but let's see. Brian went anchor. Although it's funny because he didn't really mean to do that because he timed out. He said he didn't mean to pick CMC, but oh well. You got your
I mean,
anchor.
there's worse
You
auto
can't hate
picks you
that
can
pick.
make than CMC. That's for sure.
I think it turned out pretty good.
Yeah, at least you didn't auto like Dalvin Cook in round 1.
Right. It could have gone far worse. Herb with a pretty balanced team there. And then we have Jim, who pretty balanced. He likes the Ravens early on. Took Kyle Pitts there. Keith got his guys. We know Keith's guys. Took Gibson. I think he likes himself some DJ Moore and proving himself once again to be a Michael Thomas believer in the
He
10th
is dead
round.
now. Keith is 100%. It's between, I think, him and Anthony, who is the bigger Michael Thomas believer in the Endgame community this year, between Keith and Anthony. They are definitely the top two.
Official title, the biggest. I think so. All right, George, you appreciate it. We'll get to your chat in just a second. Let's just quickly break down this. Let's see. And then we have double hero RB, or does that not count if you drafted Brees Hall in the 6th? I don't know.
No, that's definitely double hero RB. I mean, that's Eckler, Pollard is great running backs. So, and if Brees does come around at some point, I mean.
All right. And then Sir Frosif, I believe, isn't that a newer drafter with us? Kelsey,
Yes.
Adams, Josh Allen, pretty good. Solid team. Got the catch, who took a lot of players I like, not going to lie. You got Waddle, you got Kenneth Walker in the 5'10". That's really good. You took Swift right before I was going to, although Chris was going to also. And all right, Chris, so your team was not zero anything really. What was your mindset?
I mean, I loved my first 3 picks. I'm happy with Gibbs. It was between Gibbs and Stevenson there. And then it was like, where did the wide receivers go? Where are they? What happened? Where are the wide receivers? I finally just took Hollywood in the 6th because I'm like, I really don't want to only have 3 wide receivers. He may struggle, for the first 4 to 6 weeks whenever Kyler comes back, but that's okay. I can probably get by. And then I gambled on a couple of rookie wide receivers with Johnston and Mingo, which I like to do. I like to gamble on those rookie wide receivers and just leave them on my bench and see how they develop. Obviously punted QB and tight end.
Well, I will say you only really truly sniped me 3 times. And that was Pierce, who I wasn't dead set on, but he was definitely one I would have taken. Tank, of course, I love my Tank. And then I probably would have taken James Cook if he was there right before.
You would not take Diggs over Amon-Ra or AJ Brown?
I actually have, and y'all check on the flock. I got my rankings up there. I put Amon-Ra above Diggs on my draft.
Wow.
I did.
I still am not at that point. I still have Diggs over all those wide receivers.
So yeah, you've got stud receivers, you got 2 solid running backs, and of course you got a stud quarterback. So you're good. And then I did not go in, planning 0 RB, but of course at the 12, those 3 running backs are gone. I'm going to take that wide receiver value. And then at that point, like I said, I only didn't take Ramondre because I have him in every Endgame league so far. So I'm going to differentiate a little bit. And then I'm not touching Jonathan Taylor. I think it's too early for Najee there. I considered Gibbs, but I couldn't pass up getting those other receivers in a league like this with 3 receivers in the flex. Running back depth might be an issue. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, your running backs, you got Akers and Monty. They should be okay. Had you gone with Gibbs or Ramondre, I was going to take whoever you didn't take there. So, I was a little surprised you didn't. But, man, I mean, had you taken one of those guys, who knows who your wide receivers would have been. So, you did. You definitely sniped me on Sutton. That was one pick where you definitely sniped me on. I was going to take Sutton over QJ. But I think that was it. I don't think you really – I mean, you sniped me on Amon-Ra St. Brown, but I didn't really expect, when when I took Diggs, I didn't really think Amon-Ra St. Brown was going to make it back.
Yeah,
But
I mean, you're taking your pick of which guy you like. So yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I don't. That's exactly the thing. I knew how this draft was going to go. I knew those receivers are going to fly off the board as soon as I made my 4th-round pick. So I'm not crazy about Hollywood so much. Zay Flowers, I love Zay Flowers, but I don't know if I necessarily want to be starting him from week 1. So yeah, I think I'm happy with it. So George has a question here. George sliding in right before the end of the stream. 14 team, half PPR. He's got Lamar, Chase, Waddle, Williams, assuming Mike, Drake, London, Jordan Addison, Pierce, Cook, Swift, Charbonnet, Bigsby, Juwan Johnson, and Kincaid.
this is another great 14 team.
Oh, yeah.
14 league team. You got a stud QB. You got great wide receivers: Chase, Waddle, Mike Williams, London, Addison. And your running backs aren't even that bad. You got Damian Pierce, you got James Cook, you got Swift just chilling on your bench, Sharp on your bench, Bigsby. I mean, obviously, tight end is your weakness, but who cares? It's a 14 team league. Like, if your tight end is your weakness, you're totally fine. So, yeah, I don't even think you need to make a trade for a running back. I mean, obviously, you're deep at wide receiver. If you could trade one of those guys and get an upgrade at running back, sure, do it. But I don't think it's a necessity. This is a great team for a 14 league.
Again, I'm almost amazed you can get this many good players in such a deep league. I mean, you're so good at receiver, it really almost doesn't matter who your running backs are. But I like Pierce and Cook and Swift. Like, and granted, none of those guys are a clear cut RB1 for fantasy, and probably won't be top 10 necessarily, but they are all definitely startable in a 14 team league. It really doesn't matter how amazing they are because you got Chase and Waddle and Williams and London, and you got Lamar, who I love. So yeah, you are stacked. You don't even have to start a tight end. Just keep them on the bench. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. But yeah, your tight ends, you're fine. Don't worry about tight ends. Don't trade anybody. You're good. And appreciate that. Also,
Thank you.
I mean, you're with us from week 1.
I remember.
So
Yes, I remember that.
Dead, right?
He was like, yes. Yeah, I remember that. That was awesome.
No resurrecting this year. Starting out on top. Starting out from week 1 on top.
Exactly.
And just when I was about to sign off, we got another one. South Sea 77, 10-man PPR. Fields, Cup, Amon-Ra, another Pierce, Madison, Kincaid, Ridley, White, Pacheco, Addison, Zay Flowers, Okonkwo, and Love. This is a 10-team league.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of guys I like here. I would like better running backs in a 10-team league. Like Pierce is my RB1 in a 10-team league I mean, your wide receivers are great. You got Fields. Tight end also a weakness. You don't need Jordan Love. I mean, it's a 10-team league. I'm sure there's lots of QBs on the waiver wire if something happens to Fields. So I would drop Love. I don't know. Go see, like I keep saying, go see if Deion Jackson or Evan Hull are on waiver wire. Grab them, stash them, see what happens. Yeah, I don't know. I'd be trying to upgrade that RB1 spot, but I don't know what you could do. I mean,
yeah, it's tough. This is a case where, like you said, yeah, you really want a little bit better running back depth in a shallower league like this. And I love, Cup on Monroe Ridley. That's great, but yeah, it's going to be tougher to come up against the competition if Madison is in your starting lineup, unless he breaks out. I mean, it's possible, but trade ideas. I mean, the thing is, right now you're not really getting much back for those rookies because they haven't done or proved anything. Yeah. And I mean, who would you even trade? You don't want to trade Amon-Ra. You don't want to, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, you don't want to trade Cup, Amon-Ra, or Ridley. So you're probably at a point. You're probably, because I'm assuming you're flexing Ridley, which look, flexing Ridley is great, right? That's fantastic. So you probably are going to need to wait a little while and hope, Addison or Flowers has a couple big games in a row. And then you could package them with one of your running backs and do a 2-for-1 for an RB1. But I think at the start of this, I think you just got to kind of roll into the season with this team and then kind of see how it shakes out.
And the thing is, you're probably not going to get an actual true RB1 for any of those package deals without one of those top receivers. But, get some feelers out there, find out if there's somebody who is willing to part. Maybe they have more running back depth, and you get a guy who is, not stuck in someone else's starting lineup. Again, it's a 10-team league, so you're going to have guys like maybe a Swift or a Miles Sanders or somebody like that you get in exchange for like a 2-for-1 deal. Like if you package Pacheco and Flowers, or Madison and Pacheco, or Madison and Addison, or something like that, some sort of a 2-for-1, and try to upgrade to a running back. Maybe try to get like a Walker or a Dobbins or an Akers, a guy that isn't necessarily starting for somebody else. So try something like that. All right. And then
one more from Christopher. Thank you.
only fitting that we end with the super chat from Christopher Rogan. We appreciate you guys, and that's just what we want to express is, y'all telling me you appreciate us. We, trust me, appreciate you even more. Glad we could draft with you and hopefully help y'all. We will be back tomorrow. Tomorrow night is another Endgame redraft league. It's me, right? I'm on tomorrow.
Yep. You're on tomorrow. I'll be on Thursday.
My second league. So let's see who will try to snipe Tua from me. And then Chris is on Thursday. And those leagues, I believe, are both already full.
I have one spot left in my league.
You got one, but yeah, and Christopher said he can't because he's already got a draft on Thursday. So good luck to Christopher for sure. Good luck to everybody here. But yeah, there might be one spot left. Check the Discord. If you're not in the Discord, get in the Discord. Go to flockfantasy.com/endgame, and you can check our rankings, our final draft rankings, and everything else that is on there. You already know. All right, guys. We'll see you for the next one.